On CVM television, online at cvmtv.com, and remember, you can download our CVM TV Smart app from the Google Play Store and the App Store. I'm Whitney Levy. A man has been charged for the murder of Constable Darren Henry, who was killed on Tuesday, May 22. He is Amar Ricketts, also known as Demus or Alex, a vendor of Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13 address. Another suspect has been held and his identity withheld following further investigations. Senior Superintendent of Police MacArthur Sutherland says detectives are pursuing strong leads and are determined to have the other suspects arrested. Constable Darren Henry was killed at a hotel in Kingston. Family members of 14-year-old Imoni Latouche are seeking the public's assistance in locating her. Imoni Latouche, who is from Mount Sailors District, Stony Hill, St. Andrew, has been missing since Saturday, June 2. She's of dark complexion, slim build, and is 4 feet 6 inches tall. Reports from the Stony Hill police indicate that Imoni was last seen at home wearing a red blouse, floral skirt, and black sneakers. She has not been heard from since. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Imoni Latouche is being asked to contact the Stony Hill Police at 942-2223, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. The police are trying to find out who was the fourth man in the Brayton quadruple killing 2 days since the explosive situation. We now hear the latest from Curlin Brown.
The police say they now have the identities of 3 of the men. 22-year-old Shaquille Brown, otherwise called Shaka, of Iron River, St. Andrew. 37-year-old Damian Daly, otherwise called Ted, of Waltham Park, Kingston 11. And 24-year-old Jerome Noble, otherwise called Gad, of Upper Waterloo Road, Kingston 10. The men were reportedly shot during a confrontation with police officers in Cresser Lane. The men were not immediately identified, leading to speculation they were not from the community.
Yes, when you have killing, you have concerns, and over the years, persons on the main road have been robbed, and they normally run somewhere through here. So it tells us that perhaps it's persons from outside, and it have been giving the community a bad name. Because when people get robbed, they normally run through here, and once they come through here, difficult for the police to apprehend them. So, you know, it tells that perhaps the community have been really getting a bad name over the years.
Up to late Sunday, the body of the 5th man was still unidentified. Up to late Sunday, the body of the 4th man was still unidentified, while a 5th man remains in hospital. The crime fighters also say they seized 3 firearms during the incident: a Browning 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 5 9mm rounds of ammunition, 1 High Point .38 with a magazine containing 2 rounds of ammunition, and a Smith & Wesson pistol with a magazine containing 2 rounds of ammunition. The incident was reported to the Bureau of Special Investigations, the BSI, and the Independent Commission of Investigations.
An illegal firearm has been seized and 6 persons are now in custody following an early morning police operation in Whithorn District, Westmoreland. Reports from the Whithorn police indicate that information received led them to a premises where the Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol was seized. The identity of the 6 persons are being withheld pending further investigation. The Harbourview Police recovered several items in an operation carried out on Saturday. The operation, which was conducted at an unoccupied dwelling in the Melbrook Heights area of the community, saw the recovery of several electronic items the police believe were stolen.
A bike that was reported stolen in the Rollington Town police area was recovered, along with laptops, cellular phones, and tablets, along with other assorted gadgets.
Now being made for persons to visit the police station and collect their items with proper identification.
The Harbourview Police is asking anyone who may have lost any of these items, along with the proper documentation, to make contact at the Harbourview Police Station, where if possible you can identify your items.
This is just one of many operations which have been carried out in the Harbourview community since the start of the year. The World Bank has rated Jamaica as the third most exposed to multiple hazards in the world. That's the word from the Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, who is calling for more to be done in disaster risk management. The Director General, Major Clive Davis, says 87.7% of the population is at risk from 3 or more hazards.
Between 2000 and 2017, the country was impacted by some 15 or so hydrometeorological events. It cost us 128 billion Jamaican dollars in losses.
Jamaica has a disaster risk management network, but it requires the participation of all the relevant stakeholders to be more effective.
Must have a disaster risk management committee that must meet, take care of mitigation, take care of preparation, take care of response, and take care of recovery. It is when those systems are overwhelmed that the coordinating body called the ODPEM comes into play.
The Director General adds that for this Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June 1 to November 30, there could be 5 to 9 natural disasters and possibly 1 to 4 major hurricanes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not even looking at that data. What we know is that we're in the hurricane season, and we know that it takes an afternoon of rain to adversely impact us. We don't have to wait for a tropical storm. We don't have to wait. That we have to keep that at the forefront and ensure that all our preparations are in line with that fact.
Jamaica has benefited from 1.5 billion euros in development assistance, and CVM's Vaughan Thorpe now tells us more.
Not every country qualifies for development funding from the 28 member state. So why is Jamaica among the selected? EU delegation to Jamaica Ambassador Malgorzata Wasiluska explains.
Because if the public finance management, for example, is not up to certain standards, we would work as traditional donors. So we would come in and say, okay, we're going to build a school for you because it's needed, and then we hand over the school. It's a completely different partnership when we say, Jamaica wants to achieve certain things, and we're going to make it possible for you, but you are in the lead, and you deliver it to your citizens because it's part of your larger policy and a path on which you are going.
Over the past 43 years, Jamaica has benefited from a 1.5 billion euro development assistance. Funds which span sectors such as agriculture, education, human rights awareness, security, public financial management and private sector enhancement. The ambassador also pointed out the EU's strong contribution in improving service delivery in Jamaica's justice sector.
So that people would have better, quicker access to justice, more courts, faster processing, but also to provide opportunities, for example, for mediation and settling cases out of court.
In the interim, the EU is seeking additional funds to tackle crime.
Because if that is not dealt with, you could argue that our assistance to other sectors will become not as meaningful as we would wish.
Ambassador Wasiluska pledged closer collaboration to fine-tune areas of mutual interest between Jamaica and the EU. Vaughan Thorpe, CVM Live.
On the international scene, Guatemala's most violent volcano eruption in more than a century has killed at least 38 people. The volcano southwest of the capital, Guatemala City, spewed rock, gas and ash into the sky on Sunday. Here's more from Al Jazeera.
Scenes of devastation in Guatemala after Sunday's volcanic blast. The Fuego volcano's eruption sent lava streaming down a highway. Houses near the base of the volcano were buried by a mixture of mud and lava. Dozens were killed and many have been injured. Survivors expect the death toll to rise.
No, not everyone escaped. I think they were buried. We saw the lava pouring through the cornfields and we ran towards a hill.
More than 3,000 people from several farming villages near the volcano have been evacuated from their homes. Rescuers say their operations will continue through the night, and they hope to be able to reach areas that have been cut off from help. Guatemala's president has put the country on red alert.
We decided to call for a cabinet meeting. We are going right now to the presidential house to issue a declaration of a state of emergency. We believe, based on our legislative law, that we can declare a state of
Volcanic ash spewed into the sky 6,000 meters above sea level and fell more than 40 kilometers away in Guatemala City. Authorities were forced to temporarily close the city's international airport.
We shut it down as a precautionary measure for the planes because volcanic ash is harmful to the turbines. Right now, we are carrying out inspections and we have found a lot of ash.
The Fuego volcano is one of Central America's most active volcanoes. This is its second eruption this year and the biggest in decades. And experts say the Fuego volcano's fury might not be over yet. David Mercer, Al Jazeera.
Thanks for staying with us. It's now time for sports. Barbican produced a superb second-half performance in their first-round playoff fixture away to Wadada in the clash of the two former Premier League teams on Sunday night at Jarrett Park in Montego Bay. Shaquille Allen led the way with a brace in the 3-0 win for the CASAFA champions. It was not the start Wadada, who was relegated from the Premier League 12 years ago, was hoping for, according to coach Daniel Ricketts.
At all. And at home, we didn't plan this to lose this game at home. We planned to start out excellent and then take the other 3 games on the road. Yeah, we missed a lot of chances in the first half, but in the second half, individual errors cost us the game.
Well, it was a good game, 2 quality teams. We didn't know much about Wadada, so the first half we spent a bit of time feeling them out. We got our act together in the second half. We like the score at half-time, 0-0, as we believe if Wadada didn't score, we would win. They made some fatal errors at the back. Shaquille Lewis capitalized on that. And we always felt that is on a small margins that victory would come.
South Central Confed champions Dumbeholden made a winning start in their bid to qualify for next season's Red Stripe Premier League by beating Eastern Confed winners Mount Pleasant 2-1 at the Dumbeholden complex on Sunday. Kesslon Hall gave Mount Pleasant the lead after only 12 minutes, but that lead lasted only 14 minutes as Kevin Reed restored parity for the home team on 26 minutes. And 2 minutes later, Jerome Wedderburn shot Dumbeholden into the lead on 28 minutes, a goal which turned out to be the winner.
As you can see, it's a very good game. Both teams came out to play the game. As you also saw, we went down by a goal to 0, and the team really came together and delivered by 2 goals to 1.
I think we played a bit lackluster. We scored a goal and we fall back, and then our defenders give up 2 silly goals. And you know, when you're playing away, the team find momentum. It was hard for us to get back in our shape and get back into the game.
Falmouth, with first half goals from Nicholas Falconer and Jamar Scott, defeated Dwanville 2-1 in the final of the Trelawney Major League at the Ellison Wakeland. Tonight's Game 1 win over UWI Running Rebels as the best of 3 National Basketball League finals tipped off at the National Arena.
Led by Michael Rogers and Anthony White, the Slayers scored 5 straight baskets to start the game and went on to win the quarter 21-13. And while the Rebels played much better in the second, the Slayers extended their lead to 11 at halftime, 43-32. It was a 15-point game going into the final quarter after the Slayers won the third 17-13, and the Rebels, who are playing in the finals for the first time, went scoreless for the first 5 minutes of the final quarter as the Slayers extended their lead to 24. Center Kimani Friend led the Rebels fight back, scoring 12 of his 22 points in the last 5 minutes, and it was a 7-point game with just over a minute left, but the Slayers would not be denied. They went on to win by 10, 78-68. Michael Rogers was the high man for the Slayers. He got 24 points, while Anthony White added 17 and 8 boards.
The game plan, as I said before, with my team, is that we are going to let the others beat us, not Kimani. Because we know exactly what he's capable of doing. So we're going to let the others beat us. So, and as a result of that, they're trying to get it to him and so forth. So we played our defense, got some steals, pushed the ball, because we know they can't mark us in the open court and build a lead. We got a bit complacent and let them back into the lead, as I remind them that this is a game of runs. So they are going to make their runs, and then we have to just make sure that we sustain it and do what we're supposed to do.
Kimani Friend had a double-double, 22 points and 11 boards for the Rebels, who were losing their second straight game to the Slayers.
I think this is the way we started the game. The Slayers came out running, gunning, and we didn't respond to it well.
Game 2 will be played on Wednesday at the National Arena. Tip-off 7 p.m.
In the NBA, the Golden State Warriors defeated